In a world that's just constantly fighting for our attention, how do you actually win? Well, that's what we're diving into today. We're going to unpack the Indistractable toolkit, a set of really powerful strategies to help you reclaim your focus and, take back control of your day.
Does this feel familiar? You've got a dozen tabs open. You find yourself just endlessly scrolling, and then you look up and wonder where the heck the day went. Yeah, you are not alone. It feels like our focus is under attack 24/7. But what if I told you the biggest enemy isn't your phone, but something inside you?
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to uncover the real root of distraction. It's probably not what you think. Then we'll get into how to master both our internal and our external worlds. After that, we'll tie it all together by connecting it to your time and your values. And finally, we'll kickstart your journey to becoming truly indistractable. All right, let's start with the most important idea, because honestly, this changes everything. We need to understand the real root of distraction. Most of us have been blaming the wrong things for years.
We usually think of distraction as just some random thing that happens to us, right? An interruption. But look at this definition. It reframes it completely. Distraction is a predictable outcome. It's what happens when our values are a bit fuzzy, our time management is off, and this is the big one, when we have these unrecognized internal urges driving our behavior.
And this slide just lays it all out perfectly. On the left, that's what we all blame, right? The pings, the dings, the notifications. But on the right, that's the real culprit. It's what's happening inside our own minds. You see, the true source of distraction isn't the notification itself. It's our urge to escape uncomfortable feelings like boredom or restlessness or anxiety. The phone is just the easiest escape. So if the problem really starts from within, well, the solution has to start there too. This brings us to our very first strategy: mastering your internal world, and finally getting a handle on those invisible forces.
So what are these internal triggers we're talking about? Well, they're feelings we all know so well. It's that boredom when a task is just tedious. It's that restlessness when you feel kind of stuck. Or that spike of anxiety about a deadline. These uncomfortable feelings create this really powerful urge to escape. And our phone is just sitting there, offering the fastest way out. And here's the crucial point. You can't fight an enemy you don't even see. So the very first step, before you do anything else, to gain control over these urges is simply to become aware of them. You've got to identify them right when they show up. And here is exactly how you can do it. This is your first actionable step. The next time you feel that pull to check your email or scroll social media for the 10th time, just pause, just for a second, and ask yourself, what am I really feeling right now? Is it boredom? Is it anxiety? Write it down. I promise over time, you will start to see some incredibly clear patterns emerge.
Okay, so now that we've looked inward, let's start tackling the outside world. This whole section is about engineering your external environment so that it supports your focus instead of sabotaging it. I mean, just think about it for a second. Every single notification is basically an app trying to hijack your attention for its own benefit. By simply turning off the non-essential ones, you're cutting those strings. This isn't about hiding from the world, it's about reclaiming your freedom to choose where your focus actually goes. And building on that, you could actually design your environment specifically for focus. This could be a physical space, like a desk where no phones are allowed, period. Or it could be a digital space, like using an app that blocks distracting websites for a while. The whole idea is to create these deliberate zones where the signals that pull you away, they just don't exist.
Okay, so we've managed our internal triggers and we've managed our external signals. The final and maybe most important piece of the puzzle is to protect your time by aligning it with your values. This is what makes focus last. This quote just nails it. Think about it. It's almost impossible to get distracted from something you genuinely deeply care about. When your actions line up with your deeper purpose, that motivation just becomes automatic. Your values act like a compass, always pointing you toward what truly matters. So how do we take those big, kind of abstract values and turn them into concrete actions? Well, it starts with how we structure our day. The key is to dedicate focused blocks of time to what matters most. And studies show that the ideal length for one of those blocks is about 90 minutes. And here's how simple it is to actually put this into practice. You literally schedule these 90-minute blocks into your calendar for your most important work. And you have to treat them like you would a meeting with your boss. They are non-negotiable. Then after each block, you take a short, well-deserved break to recharge your batteries. So we've covered a lot of the theory. Now let's wrap this all up by putting it all together and starting your journey from being distracted to becoming indistractable.
So here it is. your complete toolkit. You track your internal triggers. That's to understand the why. You create signal-free zones to control the what. You use 90-minute focus blocks to manage the when. And you anchor it all with your values to give every single action a clear purpose.
Ultimately, this is the goal. This is what it's all about. It's not about never feeling the urge to get distracted again. Come on, that's impossible. It's about inserting a tiny moment of awareness between the urge and the action. It's about turning an impulsive reaction into an intentional choice.
And that brings us to the final question for you. This is not about fixing everything overnight. That's a recipe for failure. It's about starting with one small, intentional step. So, looking at your own life, what is the one distraction, that one internal trigger or external signal that you are going to choose to master first?